Why is tipping in restaurants so controversial? Funnily enough, it's been that way since the practice was first introduced over 100 years ago. And the arguments haven't really changed that much since then, but the policies really have. From feudal Europe to aristocratic Americans, formerly enslaved Black Americans, and corporate lobbyists, the story of how tipping became embedded in the US is very wild. It's a little bit contested where the practice first came from, but it's probably a combination of places. What we do know is that in the Middle Ages in Europe, aristocrats would give additional funds to servants during especially busy times or hard times or for exceptional service. And it was ultimately born from this feudal lord and serf custom. So by the 1700s, leaving an extra gratuity kind of became a widely practiced thing. But tipping first came to the United States in the late 1800s. So wealthy Americans would go to Europe and they started to see this practice of tipping, and they decided to bring it home and really show that they were very worldly by doing this practice of tipping. The other place that it possibly came from is that there was a large influx of European immigrants in the late 1800s, but these were largely lower and working class Europeans that were coming here for different service jobs. So could have been there, but most likely it was the wealthy Americans trying to look more worldly and have this prestige. But tipping was really unpopular at the time for a multitude of reasons. First, people found it undemocratic and downright un-American. Since it was left over from this idea of the feudal lord and serf relationship, it was seen as feeding into this classist and hierarchical system Americans were trying to escape. Second, it was seen as a bribe or even so far as blackmail. So it was really not considered a good thing. How did that change? Spoiler alert, it's because businesses didn't want to pay their staff.